Yeah, Broadway is back.
Finally. It's been way too long.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Let's catch a musical.
Babe, that's an awesome idea.
How about this one?
Now that one's got a great cast, but the music, I wasn't feeling it.
How about that one?
Now that one's got an amazing choreographer, awesome spectacle, but I don't know, the music just didn't do it for me.
I got it. Rock of Ages.
Now that's a great show, but that lead guy, not so much. You know what? I got a great idea.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
I guess. Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful early first day of November.
We're running a little bit late. Can someone answer the door,
Can
please?
somebody answer the door, please? And first day of November. Welcome. And boy, do we have a treat for you today.
We got a lot of treats happening today.
In a lot of different ways.
We got some new artwork joining us. We've got a new friend joining us. We've got Frannie Sheridan joining us, author of Confessions of a Jewish Shiksa, which I can't wait to get into this story, her bio, her story. We've got incredible artwork here by Steven Zwirn, and he is coming in with some new pieces. Come on in, Rachelle.
How are you, Rachelle?
We're gonna touch base with Rachelle a little bit after we touch base with Frannie, and we got a lot going on.
I got to tell you, I don't know.
No.
I got to tell you something. The bottom line here is there's a couple of firsts. But let's start the week by the most exciting news of the week. Brought to you by
Your Jets won.
Coffee News. That's right. My Jets won, baby. My Jets won. And I got to say, when the Jets win, the rest of the week is good until Thursday. Then it doesn't get too good.
You see what happens.
But after that, then we got this famous artist.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, this is all three-dimensional art. We went to his house, which is a museum.
Oh, my gosh.
So we're going to start working in the museum. I don't know how you're going to get into the Fort
house.
Knox, but
He's in West Boynton Beach. His house is, wow.
spectacular.
Wow. Just like color on steroids.
He had me speechless.
Yes.
Because of, and I only grab what I can grab because you can only grab pieces.
Each one of these jewels has been hand placed on this artwork, and everything that you always see here in the theater in our studio is for sale, so you can always give us a call and check for pricing. 888-56, that's the radio station, 888-994-4995, Studio A. Our crew has been running things, so we have to go pick up some of the artwork, and it is absolutely
He's here with more.
amazing. All right, so let's talk to Frannie, because we've been trying to get Frannie on our show three times a charm. We were not able to get her in on our VMix because she must have whatever reason we couldn't do it,
she's VMix jail.
which meant we had to bring her into studio.
Which
There was a reason.
And I've met Frannie. I met Frannie 10, 11 years ago.
I think you met Frannie during her 6-week stint.
I know
Yes,
her.
during her 6-week.
I don't remember why.
Yes, we'll bring him in.
I don't remember the reason why, but it had to do with a promo that she was. What, Slick? Yes, bring him over there. Yes, Slick. You the man. Just do it. And don't take the studio out. We're good to go.
Frannie's story is amazing, is all I can tell you.
Tell me about Frannie's story.
Frannie comes to us from Krista Martinelli of Around Wellington, and Krista is in the know of everybody.
Yes.
She knows everybody, and I saw, she sent me a piece that Frannie was doing with her husband, which you're no longer doing the food critic piece anymore. But your story is amazing. So we've got Frannie Sheridan with us. So Frannie, all I can do is bring you in because you look so spectacular. Your clothing, you're funny, you're a comedian, and your story is just compelling. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I just need you to talk into your mic.
I have to tell you, oh, there I am. Okay, how exciting. As you can see, I don't fit in with your studio at all.
Oh, yes, you do.
Because I'm so understated with my beige personality, my sort of, egg-colored everything. I love it here so much. I love it here. I'm so glad we finally met. And as a matter of fact, I've been sleeping here secretly.
You look like you're part of the art that's about to surround you.
I normally hang up on the wall when you're not here and just groove with the whole thing here. It's so great to meet you. And Freddie, yeah, you let me know that we met a few years ago.
I have.
And what was it? I was performing?
I don't know. How many books have you written?
Well, I've had plays published, but this is my first memoir.
So you
that
had
I've
something
ever
you
had
published.
Traditionally published, not to show off.
Well,
but
you
I am.
had something published
am.
when I first met you. I don't remember what it was. It was a story. It was a woman empowerment piece you were doing.
A woman in what?
Empowerment. telling
Okay.
women that they could do it. I don't remember all because it was a long night.
Well,
and there was cameras.
I performed a solo show for years internationally. At the Kravis Center was my last, it's a solo show. It was called, the most recent one was Confessions of a Jewish Shiksa, which coincidentally is the name of my memoir. which you have over there, and was just released. So I'm super excited and really humbled to meet you both. I just love what you're doing and that you're creating this space for artists and promoting them in so many wonderful ways. And I want to, big shout out to the gorgeous, my really good friend for decades, and she's really a salt of the earth gal, and that's Krista Martinelli, who first told me about you guys, that you had this forum for artists, which is so exceptional. So thank you, Krista. I'm thrilled to be here. And finally, I hope I have a few more minutes on. I know that we're going to be chatting for a while, but it's taken so long. You know what that's like? It's like, it's kind of like foreplay to meet you.
But there's always a reason, right?
It is, and it's been
Rachelle is
juicy.
here
She
also,
hasn't changed in 10 years.
Well, your story is compelling, and I just have to get into your memoir. You were raised in Ottawa by two Jewish parents.
That's right.
Holocaust survivors.
Correct.
Right? People are going to say, what's the Jewish shiksa? How does that all come to be?
Right.
Born Jewish, raised Jewish a little bit, and then things changed.
Well,
in the
actually, I
family.
wasn't raised Jewish. I didn't know I was Jewish. My last name is Sheridan, still is Sheridan. My married name is Mikaeli. But I keep the name Sheridan because I got a little bit of fame starting in Canada in 1995 doing my first show, which was also about the same subject matter, a little less juicy. We can get in that in a minute, called The Waltonsteins, because it was, based on, the title was, a reference to the 70s TV series
Waltons,
of Waltons,
sure.
which was about a big Gentile happy family that lived on a mountain, and we didn't live on a mountain. We lived in Ottawa, and so my last name's Sheridan. We went to church every Sunday, religiously. I was raised Catholic. I went to St. Basil's Catholic Elementary School and church, and when you're a little kid, you don't kind of question what you're told. And my parents had these European accents. My dad was from Vienna, Austria, and my mom was from Bremen, Germany. But I figured, they were European. And all my friends were Christian. We lived in this nice upper middle class neighborhood. My dad was an eye surgeon, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, when I was 9 years old, my dad slipped up like at the dinner table and said something about yada, 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 Jewish. And I went, well, Daddy, what's a Jewish? And he said, it's who we are. It's not just a religion. It's not just a name. It's your identity. And then he began to tell me these very dark, foreboding stories every single day and at night when PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, would wake him up. And he wanted to protect me because the truth of the matter is my parents were Jewish Holocaust survivors. And they had raised us to be Catholic because my dad, after escaping Europe, my parents were initially, well before I was born, Orthodox Jews living in the middle of Canada in Saskatchewan, but my dad was attacked and left for dead by an anti-Semite, and this is all documented in a court case. Of course, it's in my memoir. It has to be for them to, legitimately publish a memoir. You have to have all the proof, and it was a court case, and my dad was, told, you better leave town and all this, and his life was threatened. And it was a doctor and his wife who actually assaulted my father, and they were charged like something paltry, like $20 and $15 his wife for assault. So my dad thought, what's the point of being Jewish if I'm going to lose yet another family, this time in Canada? So he forced my very proudly Jewish mother. And for them, it wasn't just religion. It was who they were. It's the fact that they were able to reclaim their identity, which they had to hide for so long to survive Nazi Germany. And, and the Nazis, my dad escaped to Paris over his hands and knees on a bridge from Switzerland in the middle of the night and joined the French army and actually joined the French resistance and fought at Dunkirk. And so it's a big story. And so as I said, they were Orthodox Jewish when they first married and, well before I was born, because I'm also young, in Canada. But then, there I was, 9 years old at the dinner table. Fast forward, my dad slips up and starts to tell me these horrific stories in the name of wanting to protect me and tell me the truth. And so all of a sudden, my, little girl, Technicolor, Walt Disney-esque childhood became this very scary place. And I no longer thought that the world was a safe place. And I developed, a lot of, I inherited a lot of his post-traumatic stress disorders, PTSD and anxiety, because that's what you do as a little kid. And he did the best he could to try to let me know the truth of who I was. But he always followed every story with the admonition, never, ever tell anyone that you're Jewish, because it could get you and our entire family killed. And so I was brought up with a secret, and I thought something was really wrong with us. I mean, why else would people want to kill us for who we were, right? So there's this shame and all this stuff that you become entrenched with, whether you're, whether it's a religious issue, a sexual issue, whatever your deal is. If you're hiding in the closet, and I came out of the Knish closet, as it were, in my case, eventually. And there's a lot of dark humor in the story because, as I said, my parents were these very, European Jewish sounding. I mean, my dad was like a little bit of a Viennese Jackie Mason. He talked like this. Hello, Father O'Malley. So good to be in church.
So you knew you were Jewish, but you still could not admit at that point to being Jewish.
Never.
So you had to live with this secret as well now.
I had to. Not only was it a secret, it was a terror, because I felt like if I ever slipped up, that I could get, our family killed. And my dad, it was rational and irrational. I mean, he had literally, nearly been murdered so many times in his life. Their entire families had been murdered in Europe. They had survived by a whisker, and all that is documented in my memoir, which was, I'm very humbled, was just published and released, and it's exciting for me to have taken the story this far, So yeah, that's my little tale.
It's an incredible story. And
It
at
is.
what point did you decide to stop keeping this terror, the secret, and live to be?
Right.
Do you consider yourself Jewish?
Oh yeah, I mean,
You
it's,
practice Judaism, Catholicism, a little bit of both.
I'm Jewish.
Okay.
I am proudly Jewish. It's who I am. I am a person who supports unity consciousness. I do a love stream, and I have been since the beginning of Shmarona, as I call it, on Facebook and elsewhere. And I believe we're all one love. I believe that this is just like a meat suit that we're wearing temporarily, and that, we are all connected. It's all kind of a big joke on us. And that, we came flying through the cosmos, and we went, might be fun to inhabit a body. Let's have a good time. Lots is happening down there on Earth. Whoever wakes up first, you win. And I think it's that recognition that we realize that we really are all one love. But yes, my religious identity is Jewish. It's also my ethnic identity and my deli identity, which is most important. I much prefer Jewish delis over, say, non-Jewish deli. I'm a pastrami-aholic.
Put mayonnaise on your pastrami or no?
Any pastrami? Yes.
Mayonnaise?
I have
See,
to.
she's
I gotta
Jewish.
go. I'm sorry.
So she goes for the
Really,
Jewish
mayonnaise?
food.
Up to now, I had
Ask
such
this one.
respect, but really, mayonnaise?
Oh, have you tried it?
Have
Have you
I-
tried? Is all I ask.
Well,
Have you tried spam?
have I tried which?
Spam.
As a child, I think I'm still burping over it. I still have gas,
But
spam gas.
that is what they call Hall of Fame gas.
Well,
Well,
you
what
know,
brought you into the limelight?
I maybe it was the spam I had as a child that actually, catapulted me.
I remember,
She's so funny.
I gotta tell you, I remember she was more conservative at the time.
Well,
I first met her.
you also in here, you write that you were a stripper for 6 weeks.
I was a stripper. This nice Jewish girl. I was a stripper. Hello. I know. I can't believe it even when I say it. And the reason I was like the Carol Burnett of strippers. I had never been to a strip club. I come from, a family on the right side of the tracks, to say the least. My parents never even swore. And when in 1995, I wrote my first play, The Waltonsteins, in Vancouver, Canada, and my director, my genius director, who happens to be Indigenous, Canadian, Indian, as well as Jewish, so both, at one point, I was getting all kinds of philanthropy and grants and things like that, but at one point, the money ran out. And I was getting a lot of interest in the play, and it was being produced and yada, yada. So I thought, I was getting some acting gigs and some TV and some film, but not enough to really, you hire people, right. So I wanted to pay my bills. So I thought, what can I do? And my director, and I write about this in the book, said to me, I told her my idea. I said, I know it's a crazy idea, but what if I dress up like a character? And because I'd never been to, it was scary for me, but intriguing because I thought maybe I can make like a mockery of it in a sense, right? And make she said, Frannie, I'm not from the right side of the tracks, and you're going to be okay. Why don't you do it? You'll make a bucket load of cash and just get out. You know who you really are. And I said to her, like, what if I lose my innocence? She said, Frannie, you're not that innocent. So, and that was Lena, and I wrote about that in the book. And so I created this character because I had still never been to a club, but I thought, I did some investigation, and I found a lot of people in the entertainment business go to these clubs, producers and you name it. And I had a little bit of recognition in Canada doing this play. And Arthur Hiller had come into my life, the legendary director of Love Story. He'd found out about me through, I received a 9-page feature, incredible, I still can't believe it, article that was published in the Ottawa Citizen, which is like a national Canadian paper, written by an incredible journalist who's become a good friend and wrote the foreword to my book, and that's Shelley Page. And anyway, Arthur Hiller, who I didn't even know who he was, even though he's originally Canadian. He directed Love Story, and he was the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. It was a big deal. He was the little guy who used to introduce the Oscars, do you remember? And he was so humble, he used to say, I'm much more famous for my hair than my movies. But I didn't know who he was. I thought it was a joke. One day his assistant called me, because he had an assistant from like the 1950s, and she called and she said, hello, is this Frannie Sheridan? I said, yes. And she said, this is Arthur Hiller speaking. And I said, you don't sound like Arthur Hiller, because it was a woman. And then she put him on. And anyway, he had read that I'd written a multicast feature screenplay and asked to read it. Because this incredible There's Utter. There's another Utter. It's a mother from another Utter. It's a different kind of cow.
I know, she has her own show.
Of course.
I'm getting so excited. No, because I'm talking about Shelley Page, and Shelley is this magnificent, journalist and writer and a lovely human being. And so her article was what really magnetized Arthur Hiller. And so what my long-winded way around of saying this is that I had a little bit of press as a result of having attracted somebody of his stature, right? And still, I needed money. And, because he was reading the screenplay, but he hadn't attached himself to direct yet, which is what happened, which was magnificent. But, so I put together this character. I have a very good friend who is a Londoner, and she's from Brighton. And so I studied her accent, and I had her on the phone with me. And we practiced this accent, and I wore a long wig, and, I put the whole thing together. And I went to a strip club for the first time and auditioned, and I think they thought I was a maniac. But
they thought you were what?
A maniac.
A maniac. Well, Shelley Page described you here as sort of non-linear and crazy and colorful.
Well, but you're not talking a lot when you're working up there as a stripper, But I was talking like this in this because I never dropped the accent, because I thought if I keep the accent going, nobody's going to recognize me. Because as I said, I had a fair bit of press, and I was getting a lot of TV interviews and things, and people knew my face, and so I kept the British accent on the whole time. And it was very healing to do this. Actually, I was scared, but of course, I was, listen. I taught post-traumatic, I taught workshops to people who had PTSD vets and a lot of people, and I used what I had learned in my journey out of the dark wormhole of terror into joy and silliness and not giving a shitness about what people think of you, with kindness and love and, as much sweetness, although, maybe my ex-husband wouldn't think that way, but most of the time,
and now
right?
you have this book.
Yes.
And I'm reading this very briefly as I'm talking to you here. You're the youngest of 7.
That's right. Well, second youngest, actually.
So you have 6 siblings.
Yes.
What are they all? Are any of them in show business like you?
They're all strippers. No.
Perfect.
My dad became a stripper, a Jewish stripper. No. Oh my gosh, it's so long. First of all, my eldest sisters are identical twins, and they're 15 years my senior.
Wow.
So it's as if my parents had 2 families, but we're both from the same biological parents. And my eldest sister was an eye surgeon, like my dad was, and her twin sister, a pharmacist, and it goes on and on and on. And here's the thing: is I was, because of my upbringing, completely shut down. And, some of my friends who I went to boarding school with, I was sent to boarding school, not because I was bad, but at the age, that's my story anyway. No, but I really wasn't at the age of 11. And some of my boarding, you know what it's like with the internet, you meet people from your childhood. They remember me being this very, they thought I was only shy, but I was in terrible anxiety. I used to literally lock, when I was even a young woman living in Toronto, Canada, I would shut myself in my apartment and sit there for 24 hours without moving because I thought something was wrong with me and I was scared. I would go through these horrible times where I thought if I made eye contact with somebody, I would see in their eyes how bad I was. And it's a very sad thing to convey and really doesn't feel like it was even my life. It's such a wonderful thing to be able to have this incredible, experience of having gone through this challenge. It is nothing compared to what so many other people go through, but you know what I'm talking about,
but
right?
It's amazing when you look back at it and
Yes.
you talk about this as therapy and finding your voice. And the ironic thing is that we're going to talk to Rachelle in a little bit about what you do for a living and what we talked about today about finding your voice at every level, how important that is to speak your truth. And some of it's painful, some of it's not, some of it you can bring humor to it. But when you actually tell your own truth, people aren't there telling your story for you.
And it's changed.
Right? We talked about this on the morning show.
It has changed. It's changed in the last 10 years. Delivering truth now is more, it's being done more.
Yes.
And it's being applauded as opposed to being shamed.
Right.
As opposed to hiding. You can actually say things that affected you and others. And more people are coming out with the truth. You're not hiding. Listen, the hockey player from the Chicago Blackhawks, that was painful for him to come out and talk about that. And this thing goes deeper than
But how
I
long
realized.
can you really live with secrets?
20 years?
That's what I'm saying. At some point, do you go to the grave with your secrets?
Yeah,
You,
right.
you
Do
shouldn't
you
have
share
to.
your secrets and your family's the perfect, like your father slipped up with that secret. Did they ever re-identify as Jews?
Well, I'll tell you, Don and Freddie, when I first started doing this show,
Talking to
they
your mic.
threatened me with legal action.
Your
They
parents?
threatened
They
me with
were
legal
afraid.
action when they.
That
Sorry
was
about
fear.
that. I was scared I was going to get threatened again, so I held the microphone far away. No, but when I first started doing the show, they threatened me with legal action, and not out of malice. It's because there she was going to blow our secret, and what if it gets her killed? It was again in the name of protection, and you have to understand. I am not blaming them. I love my parents dearly. They are with me forever, and so ultimately, though, I had this incredible calling, or whatever you want to call it. I needed to do it because I was stuck, because even though I was working as a stand-up comedian incrementally and as an actress incrementally and stuff, I kept coming up against this anxiety, and it was way more than stage fright. And nobody could, and I'd, gone the therapy route and you name it. Nothing was really, but so I needed to tell the deepest fear. And I'm not advocating for anyone. People often come to me and say, should I write my story? And you have to find a thing in yourself that says, this is what I want to do. It will get me to my next step. Not because for me, I decided even if they were going to take legal action against me, it was for me. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I did it for me. I wasn't. And so the great news, just to answer your question, Dawn, is ultimately my 86-year-old dad, who by then was retired and living in his native Vienna as a Catholic,
Wow.
sent me a letter thanking me. And he phoned me and thanked me for giving him the courage to, and it's a very moving bit I've written in the book. He for re-identifying as what he always said he always was and never left, and that was being Jewish. It was a big piece of his life.
Sure.
He was very, very close to his grandfather, who was a Hasidic rabbi, and my father dealt with anti-Semitism since he was a little boy in a very, very horrific ways, and so. I get it. What point do you hang on to something, that might have your children that you are here to protect and love, that it might get them killed. So I understand it. It's just, and as you said, Freddie, yes, in this day and age, truth telling is certainly supported a lot more. At that time, when I first started telling my story in 1995, not so much. But the great thing about doing is it gave permission for many people, and it continues to do so with so many people now coming out of their classification of their particular kind of closet is. It gives people permission to do the same. And I think that blaming people is really not where it's at. That we at the end of the day, it just hurts us, you know. And what I try to inspire in my readers and my viewers and my love streams is that people, if they feel compelled to create and to share with the world, even like if it's a muffin, it's something in your kitchen, or if it's a book or a play or, you know, an opera, whatever your deal is, to go with the vision that feels exciting and not always to compare to what's already been done. So I believe we are all here for, maybe it's something we decided before we incarnate, who knows? You know, we're not going to know until we know.
It seems to be the message of the day today. How do people get your book and find you?
Well, if people are in North America, I am actually selling autographed copies.
We got one.
And you can get hold of me, you know, through Facebook, just private message me, or through my website, FrannieSheridan.com, FrannieSheridan.com. And if you want to buy a book, you can get, they're selling at Barnes & Noble, at Amazon, at Schmamazon, and I don't know where else. Oh yeah, my publisher, Mosaic Press. I think Mosaic Press has a deal on, darling, an early bird sale for the books. Mosaic Press, yeah. So, you know, what can I say? It's fun to sit here and jabba yabba with you.
Well, more to come. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we got a lot to talk about. We got Frannie with us, but we've got Rachelle with us, who is a motivational speaker and helping you find your voice. And it's really this perfect segue. And I hope that Steve is still here. Is he still here?
Yeah, so putting him on
And then we're going to put him on camera 3, our new artist in-house, to talk about this incredible work. So stay tuned. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we will be right back.
Do you need a strong cup of coffee to get you through your day? Try your very own Brooklyn Cafe Show coffee, the official coffee of the Brooklyn Cafe Show. You can pick up a bag from us, or 2. Contact us at 866-224-5422. Or just stop on by. We're at 2400 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard, Suite 13. Come on in, grab a bag of our signature Brooklyn Cafe coffee. The cafe doors are always open.
Justin Mooney is special counsel of the Florida office of Hinman, Howard & Cattell Attorneys. Justin's practice focuses on tax, estate planning, guardianship, probate, and trust administration. His passion is to provide clients with sophisticated estate plans which carry out their wishes, reduce any potential taxes, and preserve wealth for future generations. The attorneys of Hinman, Howard & Cattell provide first-class legal services and have achieved a reputation for excellence for over a century, staying on the leading edge of the law. When you need representation or legal counsel, contact Justin Mooney at 561-276-1008 or jmooney@hhk.com.
Creative, enchanting, whimsical. Artist Gina Bella is always creating artwork based on real stories and emotions. Expressed through Italian papers, paints, flowers, metals, and clay, her feelings and stories come to life. Complete with glittery diamond dust over paintings and pottery, Gina Bella is always creating new pieces and commissions. You can find her work in staging homes, family Christian bookstores, New Jersey boutiques, and the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery, where she offers personal guided tours of her latest art pieces. Gina can also be found hosting weekend art camps, where she teaches adults and children pottery, painting, and jewelry. For more information on Gina Bella and her art, contact livinglifeartfully@gmail.com or give a call to 954-857-5444.
Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back. What?
We love
That
to
ain't
confuse
hard.
you.
That ain't hard. Confusing
I
you
had
is
my
not hard.
first experience today at Wawa. Can you believe I had never been to a Wawa? Driving out to your house, Steve, it was like an excursion for me, right? It was like all the way
You
West
never
Point.
went on a date to Wawa?
No.
That's the latest and greatest.
So we stopped at Wawa, and I walk in with Slick, and I feel like road trip. You can get food and coffee
And gas.
I made you a coffee, and I made me a coffee, and then I got them mixed up. But mine was pumpkin spice vanilla, so all I had
Thank
to do was
God you
smell it.
didn't
And I
miss it.
didn't give it to you.
Thank God. Now, at Wawa's, they have a glove, like a Michael Jackson glove.
This show is not sponsored by Wawa, but I just have to say it was like a whole first
Yeah, why
experience.
are you even bringing them up?
This segment of the show is brought to you by the Coffee News.
Coffee News. Get your ad in the Coffee News. Talk to Joey. What's the number?
954-951-7870. We actually have the spot that we can play for Coffee News.
And we'll play the spot, but get in touch because, this is about getting out from under the rock is what we call it. Today is our 2-year anniversary
in this theater.
in this theater. My fingers get lost with all those hands behind me. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. But 2
years.
2 years. I can't believe it's been 2 years.
2 years since we've been here. I know.
This is a little scary.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty
But I
amazing.
have to tell you, I got out from under this weekend. I went to the Palm Beach Home Show up in the Palm Beach Convention Center to see our good friends 2020 The Game. They had a booth there, so they told me about it. This is the most, I've got puzzles in my car. Such a great game. Talking about Schmarona, as you call it. There's quarantine cards. And it's so much fun to play them. You go into quarantine, you get out of quarantine, you take a friend, you get 270 electoral votes to win the game. But going through this, the cards that you pull are so funny. Lose a point, get a point, wear a mask, you go into quarantine, you get COVID, you're exposed. So many funny things. And then just when you're getting to your 270 points, the killer hornets, you fall in a spot there. The things that we forget that happened during this ride. And then there's a hurricane scare. All the things you went through thinking there's no way this is life, this is now
box.
in the game. And this is the 2020
And
edition.
when you open the box, a Sharona balloon.
Sharona balloons, there you
balloon
go.
comes out and everything else. But this is the great game. You can get it at Walmart.
You can get it online actually at 2020-The Game. And you can find it also on Amazon. It's everywhere. Just make sure you've got the hyphen in it. It's bright yellow box. So much fun. And there are new cards coming out for 21 and 22.
And soon to be available on Walmart.
Yep.
Soon
More
to
coming
be,
up.
right? All right.
100%.
That's the fun part of the show.
So as we always say, we never know how things are going to play out, but somehow in the studio, things always work out with guests coming together, perfectly alignment, which is why, Frannie, you were supposed to be here today to meet Rachelle Sylvain-Spence. 2 weeks ago, I went to our good friend Alexa Carlin's book launch of Adaptable. And I am trying really hard this week with my move to adapt. As I told you, the cable guy put his foot through my ceiling Saturday night. So I'm working on adapting and going with the flow of all of these things. But I met Rachelle, and Rachelle is so lovely. She's soft-spoken. But what she does is she brings women empowerment to life. Perfect that you're here, Frannie. So that quiet voice of you when you were 9 is now full of life. So Rachelle, welcome to our set. She's got a mic. Rachelle is another New Yorker like you.
What part of New York?
Queens, New York.
Queens?
Yes.
You're a Mets
Fresh
fan?
Meadows. Pardon me?
Are you a Mets fan?
Knicks all the way.
Knicks, we pretty good this year. They play tonight.
Yes, they do.
I'll
Yes,
give
they
you a
do.
little how to watch them. I'll give you a link.
Okay, I'll wait.
Gotta keep my New
Accountability
Yorkers
Monday is what today is.
If she can help you with your ceiling and a foot coming through it, I'm all in.
I'm working, as you can see, I've look at all the color we've got going on here. Tell us about what you do.
Thank you for having me, first of all. I'm Rachelle. I am a motivational speaker. So I ignite the inner motivation in women to give them the power and the strength and the inspiration to take action in their lives. So that's what I do. I do it through speaking, and I also do it through some coaching.
You do realize that when you motivate these women, if they're attached to a man, you automatically motivate men.
Yes, or I may motivate them then to leave their men.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, do not write to me.
You'll feel
Which
right
I've
at
been
home
told.
here.
Wow.
We had that happen here a few times, right?
Wow. What? I can't believe she said that.
Okay, so we laugh about it, but why is that? Why do women feel compelled that once they can find their voice and they speak their truth, that they now want to do something different?
I think that most women, and I think as a human being as a whole, we are often placed in a situation where we check the societal box and we do everything that that are expected of us. And meanwhile, there are elements of ourselves that are hidden within us that we never taken the time to connect with. And once we are able to make that connection, there's a inner strength that comes through that makes you want to take action in your life. And that's really where I believe most people are, and it could be in a different area. If they're married or with a partner, and for whatever reason, they just didn't have or didn't know how to take action towards creating change. It could be a job setting, it could be a career, it could be within their own families. That connection that happens through motivation, through inspiration, empowers them to not only own their voice, but stand in their truth so that they can fully show up for themselves authentically.
Oh man, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you're here, by the way.
Thank you.
What do you do when you meet somebody and you're a male and you meet a female and you tell this female, you know something, I want you to come forward and be you. I want the world to drink out of your wine of knowledge. And they make you wait 4 years because they tell you no, some more no, completely ignore you, and nothing no, because apparently somebody has put a seed in their head. And you're trying to motivate them to come forward. Is it because I was a male? If I was a female, would it have been easier for this person who shall remain nameless, because we've told the story a million times. Yeah. Do you have to deal in your business with past and present?
I believe that, yes, to answer your question, you do deal with the past and the present. Why? The past is part of your history. So often enough, we need to heal from that past in order for us to move forward. So what might have caused someone not to move forward or taking the initiative is because there's something that's holding them back. So it's very important to identify what that is. And when I say that, I don't mean we need to sit in it, because I think often we get lost in the story and then we fully lose ourselves and we're unable to move forward. But it's important to acknowledge where that might have come from so that you can heal from it and move forward and take the steps that you're talking about.
It's interesting you say that, because if you look around, this happens to be the work of that person that made me wait 4 years, and now we've been doing this 6 years. This is her work. This is her fingerprint. And there are things about Dawn that a lot of people don't know. Like, she's an artist. She plays the piano. You see that piano? The piano's 104 years old now. And her music was in the chair with her name on it, and she told me she never played. And none of that is true. I don't know where these seeds come from, but is it too late to change seed is what I'm asking.
No, it's not. I think it's we talked about permission earlier, right? It's giving yourself permission to allow yourself to see yourself the way you would like to be seen. So you first need to acknowledge that this exists within you and celebrate it. Only then you would be okay showing it off and allowing people to see you as you see yourself. And I think that's the piece. Sometimes most of us we shy away from our gifts. We shy away from that, and we do not allow ourselves to be seen fully. And this is the piece of discovering. In my work, I talk a lot about self-discovery, to rediscover who you truly are from within, not who your parents told you were, or what school have said about you, or your community, or your church, or your religion. Who are you within? What brings you to life? What lights you up? And if it's art, then own it, celebrate it, show up within that space as you.
I love this lady. I gotta tell you, the one conversation, the most important conversation in your life, in everybody's life in here, is the one you have with the mirror. Because the mirror will never lie to you. And if you believe what that mirror is going to tell you back, God only knows where you can land. And I love that you're here, and this is here, and he's here, and the kids get to drink from this. because the bottom line here is, it's time for the change, man. We got to change how we've been doing things that didn't work, and that did make it better. But never, ever say you can't. Never, ever say that I have nothing to say, because that isn't true.
That's not true.
Everybody has something to say, and you could do it colorfully, you could do it artistically, or you can just do it professionally, and there we go. And watch what happens.
But what you say is the truth. It's owning who you are. It doesn't matter what other people say.
No.
And that's what it is. You can believe who you are, but then and that lasts for a moment until someone says, you can't do that, or why would you say that, or why would you paint your ceiling purple and blue? Nobody does that. And you have to be strong enough in your beliefs of who you are to say it doesn't really matter. This is what I like to do. And Frannie, what you have done is so spectacular, because you have owned it, and we can't forget our past, but you've taken it, you've grown from it, and it wasn't easy, I'm sure, just like a lot of women you work with. But you own it.
Even
and you
my
move forward.
stories. I mean, I have, and I was just sharing briefly, I'm of Haitian descent. I have experienced a lot of political unrest, so therefore I've had to deal with a lot of trauma relating to that as a child. But it's part of my, I call it, it's part of my story, but I don't allow the story to define who I am, right? The story is part of my history. I have grown from it, and I have embraced it for what it was. I've also fell off. I was part of an accident of a plane crash a couple of years ago in New York City, trying to fly back to Florida.
You weren't on the Hudson, were you?
No, not that one. It was the Tower Air. It was 1996. I was coming into Florida to come to my cousin's graduation, where the plane skidded off the runway.
In LaGuardia?
In LaGuardia. No, it was in JFK.
In JFK,
yeah.
they landed in the water, half of it?
Almost, yeah.
Oh
It was the
God,
engine that
you were
flew
on
off.
that plane?
Yes, it was Tower Air, but it was that's part of my, it is a story, but I still went back on the plane. So I'm a strong believer that you learn from every experience, and I strongly believe that the creator, God, universe, however you call it, I call him God, create these instances for you as an opportunity for you to grow. You have to definitely embrace every experience as part of your journey and not allow it to fully define you, but yet allow it to be part of your making. Because who I have become, being able to sit here before you with the experiences that I've had at 11 years old, when they tried to really raid in my home, when I had to hide underneath a bed or a closet because they were throwing boulders into my home at 11. And when the police came, they were wondering where's the person who died in that particular room, and that room happened to have been mine. And I had to ask my parents throughout the night, can I please move from my room to your room, because I did not want to sleep there. So these experiences are real. I've had the post-traumatic with that. Because, I remember being in New York where my brother's throwing a rock trying to tell me to open the door because he was locked out. And then I literally jumped off and fell on the floor, thinking it was that experience all over again. Right. So it was an experience. It's not an experience that I would have liked for anyone else to experience it, but it was part of my history. It was given to me for a reason. I have accepted it for what it is. I have healed from it. I have grown from it, and I'm who I am today because of it. And I'm not embarrassed of the story. I'm not embarrassed of who I have become because of it, because that is a better version of me. I know it's cliche to say, but it is. I am who I am because of all these elements that have happened in life, and I've never allowed it to hold me back. I've allowed it to really mold me and push me forward.
When did you become a coach?
She is so calm.
I know.
She has all of that happen, and you are like the symbolism of calmness.
Well, when I met her a couple weeks ago, I don't even think we maybe said a couple sentences.
And then you were like, you have to be.
And I was like, well, I have to interview you and find out more about your story. But you meet people, and some people just vomit their whole story on top of you, and you
That
can't
is
get
such
out.
a pretty word.
I'm sorry. And then there are people you meet that you want to find out more. It's like
Yes, I want more vomit.
It's like your kids. My kids will vomit their story all over me, and then they feel so much better. And they're like, have a nice night, Mom. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Are you always this calm?
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Really?
That's one thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have fun. I love to dance. I love to have a good time. So I get that level of excitement.
Is that part of the Haitian culture? Because I look at you,
He's
Yes.
the same way.
and you're the same way. The world can be caving in, and you can have 20 people texting you, and you laugh. You can break any.
Yeah, but there's
right?
always that underlying tension.
But you never know that because he's always calm on the outside.
She's a whole lot better.
Look at him.
There's a whole lot of calmness over here. There's a whole lot of calmness. How do you know that? You don't know that. She could be younger than you.
I am so sorry. She's much wiser.
Yes,
But
she is.
do you think that-
She ain't saying nothing. I gotta tell you, what a testament to being one. It's a testament because you got one side, you got the other. You got two different, and both of them deliver the message.
But yet the message is the same as the message I saw
That's what I'm
this
talking
morning.
about. Yeah.
You know, may I add something? As you were just asking. Going back to experiences and stories and history and all that, I think that for me, my experiences have really shaped me. That's why I'm the way I am. I've never been more purposely grounded and spiritually grounded. So throughout my experiences,
There it is.
this is what has come from it.
There it is.
My full connection and how grounded I am with my spirit and in my purpose. So when I show up as my truth.
You want to switch your mic?
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
could tell.
Yeah.
And you wear it well.
Thank you. I appreciate
And you know,
that.
the best book is yet to be written because it's coming. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be big for you.
Oh,
I
thank
tell you
you.
the same thing that I told Alexa Carlin when we first met her on the very first day when she had to make a decision as to whether or not pursue this thing. Remember that? At
6 years
Starbucks?
ago, yep.
And she looked at us and says, do I do this or not? And what do we tell her? You better put on your seatbelt, honey, because you're going to be all over the country. And sure enough, boom, there it went.
Right.
You watch out now because
I
it's coming.
appreciate this. I did publish a self-published though.
That's great.
a self-published book. It's just a 7-step process.
Where is it?
Oh, it's in my purse. It's called. It's a self.
It's in her purse. We have to auction off the purse to get the book out.
But yes, it's a self-discovery work. Talk really 7 steps to how to really get to know yourself from the core.
Oh, that's a very
And it's a
important
lot
piece of
it is based
material.
on my experiences also, and I, identified, each step. It's I tell my a little bit of my story each of the steps.
And where's the
as well.
seminar that goes with this book?
I actually just launched a self-discovery course. It's online now that I'm selling as well with the 7-step process also.
So we got to put you on stage to do that because
I appreciate
delivery is everything.
Thank you.
She'll tell you.
Phil?
I still can't believe I met you 10, 11 years ago.
I don't know if he really did.
Yes, I did. Oh, I know I did. Because I just text the
Slick, can
person,
you
she
open
says,
'em?
yes,
2 shot?
I knew. And she knows. And we follow you. I've been following you for years.
My condolences.
She sounds like you.
She's
But
taking
do
my
you not
line.
think I'm the poster child of calm?
You have a different type of calm.
Excitement.
It's like the works behind
You are like Steve's paintings coming to life, is what
Yes.
you are.
Rochelle has turned, and this is like I have to give credit to Michael.
Talk it to your mic.
Bernard
Talk it
Look
to
at
your
my-
mic.
Rochelle, I'm sorry, Rochelle, you've transformed from, and this is not. I have to give credit to Michael Bernard Beckwith, post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic strength, and yours is an inner calm, and there's no one way. For me, it's about celebrating my inner child that was quelled, and I was not allowed to have that voice. So to be completely, not to have a linear delivery and not to edit myself and to have like 5 doors, and just to let it go and not to allow myself to qualify that I make any mistakes, because you can always do another you can always do another take, and that's what I really try to encourage people. There's no one way of healing and being who we are, and every personality is good. And your beautiful, grounded voice and vibration is so true to who you are. and so powerful. And all of us and everything in between is just gorgeous. And I really think it's the authenticity piece that matters more than how it plays. And of course, some people are going to relate more to a peaceful, calm demeanor. That speaks to their soul. And I'm kind of the playful idiot. Not always.
No, because you have a message and you deliver your message differently and your authenticity of who you are. So it's not a playful idiot at all. This
Playful
is how you
idiot
bring your message to life.
Well, I agree, but in the sense that there's a little idiot inside of all of us. What is an idiot? And can we redefine and take back the power of that word?
True.
We're all a little idiot. You know what I mean? Because it can be hurtful and scathing. And that's what I like to do too, name calling and all that. And just not, because as Esther Hicks, who's another sage, has said so eloquently and so beautifully, nobody can get anyone's goat unless their goat is gettable. So and of course we try to be kind and sweet and do everything as sovereign, loving beings, whether you believe in God or Goddessa or, the great matzo ball juggler in the sky, as I often reference. It doesn't matter. We're all love. And that's what I believe our truth is. And however it is manifest and however we let our beauty and our truth shine is gorgeous.
Well, every soul is different. And what I like about Rachelle is that you give people an opportunity, and I just read the beginning of this, and you are spiritual, and you give people an opportunity to say how they feel, and there's no judgment, because there's no right, wrong, or indifferent. There's only silence.
Look at me, I'm sitting here with books and a wine.
Well,
and I'm like...
But I'm going to tell you something. Did you read that or not?
Yes, it makes me think of JJ.
It does. But this thing, I got to tell you got to put this out on stage, because when you walk with a book, it shows intelligence in fingertips. It means that people will reach out because they want to be part of the touchy-feely thing. It's one of the reasons that I like this piece. This is a throwback to my day. I used to read the Post and the Times and the Wall Street Journal. I used to deliver it because knowledge was at my fingertips. Something that JFK, the president, taught his children. He used to get all of his knowledge at the fingerprint level. You could look that up. But this book and the way you deliver it is a formula. The way you do your book and your delivery is a separate formula, because in the bodega, you have a little bit of everything.
It's finding your voice. It is the message of today is delivering your
That's
message
right.
in your voice.
I did not see the heights, because a lot of people
inspired
told
us,
me, and
let's
again,
see.
I apologize to these two. I did not see the
You
heights.
haven't seen
I
it?
haven't seen it.
I got to tell you,
My children have, I haven't.
you have to see the heights, because it explains the two of you, the three of you, to the 10th degree. It makes you cry, it makes you laugh, it does a lot of things, because if you understand that movie and what they were trying to explain, you will understand this. You will understand that book. You would understand Piragua, Mr. Softy, the whole nine. It is and again, I gotta apologize to them too, because they told me you gotta see it. I waited till it was on HBO, and I said, I didn't see it once, I didn't see it twice, I didn't see it 3 times. This weekend I saw it 4 times because I was afraid I had missed something. And from Grandma to Bodega to Piragua to the Great Blackout of New York City, it's all in there. And you got to understand that sometimes when you feel passionate about something, you got to understand what the word passionate means. And look around this set today. Just look around.
It looks
the people,
spectacular.
the art, and everything else. This is passion at that degree, and if you can relate, you're getting close.
How do people get your book or work with you as a coach?
So my book is on Amazon, and it's also on my website, which is www.rachellesylvain.com. And they can reach me through my website as well. I'm on every social media, Instagram, you name it, Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, so there's different ways. And I'm also on Clubhouse, so there's different ways to find me as well.
Oh my gosh, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, I'm just telling you, today is one of these magical days in the studio, right? It's like everything comes together, boom,
What I tell you,
in color.
when the Jets win, magical stuff happens.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. Thank our sponsors. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll be right back.
I love it. We got to go now. Gotta
Commercial
switch
break.
that.
Cafe, our subjects range from hot topics, feel-good stories, and back-in-the-day nostalgia. With guest personalities and business features, you just never know who you'll see on the show. With our brew crew on set, we always air live to inspire, educate, and create. Make it a date and have a day at the cafe. Join Dawn and Freddie every weekday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. and for lunch every weekday from 12 to 2. Amplify your voice. Call us at 866-224-5422 or visit our website at brooklyncafe.tv.
Coffee News is a fun, family-friendly weekly publication provided free to restaurants, coffee shops, and waiting areas for customers to enjoy. Grow your business today through the power of effective, affordable advertising. Coffee News is an active marketing medium specializing in the ongoing weekly promotion of your business. This builds awareness for your company so you become known as the leader of your industry and develop brand awareness so people think of you first when they want your services or products. Maximize your visibility and achieve outstanding results. For more information on Coffee News, contact Sunrise Coffee News at mail.com or give them a call at 954-951-7870.
With enough butter, anything is good. Tori Wells from Precious Treasure Gourmet Foods thinks so because she single-handedly updated and expanded butter's possibilities. From compound, savory, sweet, and spicy, her freshly made butters aim to please. I don't know about you, but I've never really seen butter this versatile before, and now so feasible. With online shopping, just visit PreciousTreasuresGourmetFoods.com because at Precious Treasures, Tori is working on the best artisan gourmet foods to every table. Remember, guys, true love is like butter. There's no substitute for the real thing.
Welcome to Mini Donut World, where the donuts are hot, fresh, and delicious, made to order and customizable by you. Gourmet specialty flavors such as apple pie, French toast, campfire, and strawberry cheesecake are always popular. Looking to tailor your appetite? Build your own mini donuts. Choose from over 18 flavored donut bases, add on your icing flavor, and choose from over 15 toppings and drizzles. While kids enjoy our design your own kits to take home, our 21 and over customers love our alcohol-infused donuts. Come visit Mini Donut World at 8763 Sterling Road in Cooper City. Have questions or want to place an order? Give us a call at 954-369-2301. We know you will love each bite of our deliciously distinctive mini donuts.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
Watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie.
All right, we're back. Now, we're going to play the mini donut game.
Brought to you by Mini Donut World.
Yeah, I was going to say that. But the funny thing here is that whatever, we're going to pick Frannie.
Okay.
Whatever Frannie wins, we will give each one of our guests today. So if it's a pencil, you get a pencil. If it's the keys to Dawn's car, the three of you have to decide how to strip her car into thirds. So there are two boxes, Frannie. Box 1 and box 2. Which one would you like? This one's 2. All right, so let's look at what you didn't pick first. Oh, yes, we got to do that. What do you mean, why you got? That's the way the game is played. The first thing you did not get was a bag of Brooklyn Cafe coffee. Okay, so we have that here. And the second thing you did not get is some sanitizer with a little magical guy, a little angel. I'm glad she didn't win this one because I only had one of these. So you didn't get that. So let's see what you did win.
Can open up box 2. This segment is brought to you by Mini Donut World, located in Cooper City. You can give them a call at 954-369-2301. They've got the best mini bite-sized donuts, and they make them for logos. You can do them for launch parties, book events, birthday parties.
Anything and everything.
And for fun, they have adult-infused donuts. A regular donut with a pipette of
liquor.
Rum, vodka, Baileys, you name it, Kahlua. Tequila and pastrami, sure. How would it go best? All right.
They have a pastrami liqueur.
Pastrami and mayo.
They got a mayo donut. She's quick.
All right, what is in box 2?
Now, in box 2, you win 2 tickets to the movies of Del Rey or Lake Worth.
Ooh.
Okay, and a box of popcorn.
Nice.
So we're going to give each one of you
2 tickets?
2 tickets. So you can go see. I was there last night.
Yes.
I saw Dune.
Doom?
Dune. D-U-N-E?
Dune.
Thank you. Voices from the past. Dune. And I got to tell you something. 2.5 hours was that movie.
Wow.
So you got to really be into sci-fi if you like that. But they got James Bond. They also have a whole thing with the Met. You know who bought tickets to the Met?
Who?
Wayne.
Yeah, they live stream the Met. Which is really cool.
If you're into the Met. So 2 tickets to the movies of Del Rey or the movies of Lake Worth are yours. We will give you those.
Compliments of movies of Del Rey and movies of Lake Worth.
And the popcorn is pretty good.
I bet. Does it come with toothpicks?
No, but I can get you one if you need.
I always need one.
All right.
All right, so let's
Thank
kick
you.
this over. So we'll get that out to everyone. Over to Steven. Amazing. This is how our day started. We took a road trip over to West Boynton to your home, which is really a museum of spectacular, not only artwork, but colors and coming to life. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine what your whole past has been like, but it is quite colorful.
Well,
and
we
it's
want to
a joy.
ask you, what the hell did you do in the before life?
When I started out, I was a musician. Played the drums. I always wanted to play drums, and I started when I was 7 years old, and that's all I wanted to do. Practiced every day, 4 or 5 hours a day, and eventually got into being a musician. I was on A&M Records, late 90s, late 60s, early 70s, with a group called Tarantula. And I played the usual hotels and clubs and so forth. And then I decided I had a child and I didn't want to travel, and I got married and did the whole spiel. And so I wanted to get out of music. So believe it or not, I bought a 7-Eleven franchise. And that was a real experience. 24/7, 7 days a week. And that lasted about 3 years, and I said, I can't take it any longer. And my wife was in the record business, and she was handling the advertising for RCA Records. And so and she knew people at radio stations, and I said, that might be something I might like to do. And eventually I got into selling radio advertising. I was in Los Angeles on KISS FM, K-Rock, KJLH. Then we moved to New York, and my wife was promoted, and RCA was bought by BMG Music. and she became the branch manager, the first woman
Wow.
in the country to become the branch manager of the East Coast. And then I started working at, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I worked at KJLH, which was in Los Angeles, which was Stevie Wonder's radio station. And I met Stevie, and I met a lot of people there, and a lot of artists and so forth. And then then I got into 7-Eleven. Then I got into radio advertising through my wife because she knew people at the radio stations. And I got a job working at a country station way out in Orange County. I traveled an hour and a half just to go to work and just to get into radio. Finally, I got into radio. I had that job for a while. Then I got into Kiss FM, which was Rick D's in the morning, and started selling and went to K-Rock and so forth. Then I got out of that business and went into direct marketing, money mailer, which is, you had Sharon Rubin on the other day, and she was my boss at one time, and sold that. And then I was going to move here, and I moved here, kind of semi-retired, and I've always wanted to be an artist, but I never had the time to do it. And I went to this place, I was looking at some of the art, and there was this man signing a book. And I said to him, his name is Ralph Papa, well-known artist, and I said, do you teach? And he said, yeah, I do. So he was teaching down the street from me. So I decided, okay, I'll take some lessons. Well, I got in there, and I didn't want to do the regular painting kind of stuff. I wanted to do different things. And when I went to Michael's and Jerry's Artorama, they had gels there and different kind of paints and so forth. And I said, God, I'm going to buy some gels and see what I can get into. And then I said, I do like jewels. Love jewels. I've always loved jewels. When I was a kid, my mother had a big jewel box full of jewelry, and I used to sit down and just go through it and look at all the jewels. I just loved it. And I said, I don't want to do the regular stuff. I want to get into something different. I'm going to try some 3D art. And that's how it started. I went to Michael's. I used to go to Michael's all the time, and I'd see things like those hands behind you, Freddie. I saw those, and those were used for people that would have jewelry on their dressers. They'd stand them up, and they'd put their rings and stuff on them. I said, I can do some 3D art. I can do something with that. So then the same thing with...
This is the first thing I saw on his site. Says, okay, I got to have this for the lobby.
I feel like I want all the rings. I want to change rings every day. It is the coolest... All your pieces, though. When we walked into your home, I went, wow. Frannie, see that googly piece next to Steven? That is like you in a painting today. It's
right.
Red and yellow and your glasses and, right?
This is my home. Your work is my home.
I feel like she is personified his painting.
Yeah.
She could be the, what do you call that, that takes care of the art place?
Curator.
She could be the curator.
Your home, every piece of art, we couldn't even choose. The only reason we chose what we chose is we only had 3 cars with us. So now you know why we were late, Frannie, because we were picking up all this incredible artwork. And each piece, I mean, you've got one that says the love and the laughter one in your foyer.
Yeah.
With each jewel is hand put on.
Yes.
To these pieces.
Yes. I take a tweezers and a tube of glue, and I put each jewel on. Everything that you see is one at a time. It takes a long time to do it.
Well, I am so excited that you're here because the energy and the color pops the entire show.
And it's funny because he lays it out. Even the headboards on the mattresses in the rooms that he has are pieces of art. But the one thing I got to tell you that really, really blew my mind was his theater.
Your media room.
Oh, media room. It's a theater. It's a freaking theater with 13 speakers.
Right.
And big screens, and it's blue, deep blue.
Yeah.
It's on his colors of his house are like a box of crayons. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I said I'm in Florida. I like color, so I painted my house with 28 different colors. I love it. And when people come to the house and they see it and say, "Gee, I love this," but I would never do it in my house. I said, "Why?" She says, "Well, because we just like beiges and
I would do it in a
whites."
heartbeat. I guess I need to talk to you, Rachelle, because my family would go, "No, you can't," and I would say, "But why?" My other house had all different colors.
I had an orange and blue kitchen growing up.
I love color, right?
And
Hence our theater.
We talked about this, him and I. We talked about how color is magical. It's energy. And the more you stir it. But the thing about this guy, what you can't see
pieces, right.
is the way he puts it in his house. You should have seen Slick. He was in there. He didn't know which way to turn. He was like, this is unbelievable, which is what it is. And that's the energy that you want to create with his works of art. They're different. They're self-explanatory. He's like you ladies expressing to us what you do, but he does it this way. So today, and this was all, I didn't even know they were coming.
I know.
I had no idea that you ladies were coming. And all of it ends up working. That's what we're making space around the theater to bring his art to life, because I got to tell you something. You got to come down. You got to check it out. It's all for sale, unfortunately, but it is. You come down, you buy it, you take it home. We'll even help you get it there. I don't know how, but we'll help you get it there.
The pieces. This one is, I mean, they're all beautiful. I love her.
That's my Art Deco piece.
It's incredible. And what is this? Because it's all textured. This is not flat. It's total three-dimensional.
Yes, I took a gel, and the paint that I used, I built it up, and if you look at it, it seems like it's glass. It looks kind of like glass.
Yeah. And it's some sort of gel or resin, but this is all three-dimensional. It's a beautiful backdrop for a set. You should do movie designs or party and events. Oh, we should introduce them to Penny for events. You could do event backdrops and, oh my goodness, so many great things.
Yeah, yeah. But
are you going to Sharon's opening this week or next week?
Yes, yeah. I think I'm going to Meisner Park on Thursday.
That's Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to mention that because they called us about being there Thursday as well. Got to sort of figure this thing out. But nonetheless, we're going to be selling tickets to his house. This is a museum. There'll be a tour bus that will leave from here to there.
You didn't even see the backyard.
Oh my God!
I will, because that's where we're going to have everybody gather, explain the tour, because they got to make sure they don't touch anything on the wall.
My backyard is like a preserve. I've got I got so many plants back there. I've got about 18 different nurseries that I've gone to. And I love that kind of stuff. And I love art. I love jewels. I love glitter. I just like it.
Well, I keep looking at Frannie's outfit and the bird and the googly-eyed faces next to you, and it's like, right?
I have to say, you've never been in my home, but if you watch I love stream twice a week, and you eat from my home, and it is your color.
Talking to your mic there, friend.
Your home.
What I was saying is,
your home is what?
I love stream. I go live twice a week from my home, and everybody is crazy for my colors. And your colors are so joyful. We really have a simpatico appreciation there. They bring me joy, and I come from egg-colored beige and all that, as you say. Most people say, I want to do it, but I can't because my life is beige. And you gotta realize, you can only do things that you're ready for, whether it's writing a book, being a speaker, whatever. Obviously, it was something in your soul. It was the next step, and it felt easy and exciting in that. And there's no one way, but I sure relate to your stuff, and I love glitter.
Frannie, you see the mask on the chair?
On the chair?
Yeah, the heads.
Ooh, yeah.
I love color,
that looks
as you
so
can
much
see.
like the different masks, the different faces.
Yeah.
And courage to speak out and do what you do. Again, going back to what Rachelle was talking about, it's about the courage, having that inner courage and coming forward, and don't let negative thought slow you down. Fear will slow any dream down, sometimes even extinguish
And
it.
so will the naysayers in life that tell you, don't paint your door silver, don't paint your ceiling, right? Don't dress like that, or don't speak your truth, or don't leave your spouse, whatever it is.
It all ended at the word don't. It's really simple.
You shouldn't do that. You got nothing to say.
You go to this man's house, there ain't no such thing as don't.
No.
He has a lion head up there that is
He's got a tree trunk in his living room
I
that
love
lights
that.
up.
There's an octopus in his living room.
Yeah, I've got an octopus table. I've got a tree trunk that is from Turkey, and that I put lights on the inside. And I have a piece that we had made years ago out of barn wood. I mean, and like Freddie was talking, the headboard in my bedroom was a door from India, and I had to make a bed out of it. And
Unbelievable.
And the other bedroom, I had something from Indonesia, a headboard, and they made a headboard and a bed out of that. I just like different things. I've got Bustamante stuff.
It's
I just
amazing.
like art.
You feel the vibration of it, you know, and
Yes,
it just.
I always like different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really, and I don't think that's why we should compare ourselves to each other.
Not at
Whatever
all.
brings you joy, and courage is a piece of it, Freddie, but I also think it has to feel like the next fun step. To even if there's like, oh, what if people don't? But if the majority of the feeling is, I got to do this. This is exciting to me. I don't want to be a regular artist.
No.
I love jewels. I
Yeah.
loved your story about playing in your mother's jewel box.
Oh yeah, I loved
Just
it.
super cool.
Yeah, and to give you an example, I drive a car, a Challenger. It's Furious Fuchsia.
Yes.
Wow, my husband and I love hot cars that are hot
this
colored.
is super cool. Super.
Wow.
It's a limited edition color. They didn't make very many of them.
Beautiful.
I put a scoop on it, pipes and everything. It's very cool.
Oh, fuchsia.
It's a nice energy stimulator. People will be more inclined to listen if you do a seminar based on the books and people have to work under that environment to fill in the pages like your book says. It changes the whole perception of learning.
Your book is like a journal.
Yes. Yes.
Your
Has
book is a
steps, each
journal, and
has
steps, and then.
exercise.
Oh, it's funny. We talked this morning about goals. People's day seem to be more successful and positive when they set goals,
We were just talking about that.
right? Everything we spoke about on this morning's show has come to fruition on the afternoon show.
It's funny, there are people that make goals to try to follow. And then there's people like me that take goals that come to me, and I turn those into my list.
Write down how you can be accountable. It started off, I was watching the news this morning, and Yuma Aberdeen, who was Hillary Clinton's assistant, and her husband was, running for mayor, and all these explicit pictures, was interviewed, her first interview ever of her being interviewed and not setting it up. And this powerful woman that she is, that everyone saw, she never stepped forward until today with her own book, as she said, she had to share her truths and her story as opposed to everyone else sharing her story. Right? It wasn't about her parents, and it wasn't about working for Hillary Clinton. It wasn't about what her husband did. She needed her story to be out in her voice. And that's how our day started today. And here you all come. It's like, whoosh, you talk about 7 messages.
I tell you.
This was like a
You
2x4 today,
you got
right?
3.
You know what came up for me when you were speaking and we were talking about the colors and all this, like the how eclectic everything is. I think that it's also important to be okay if you are where you are, right? So the idea is really to be able to appreciate everything. So one could be about colors, but if you're not, you could appreciate the one that's actually is about it. And I think this is really what makes life what it is. It's be able to appreciate and celebrate the next person in their gifts, in their elements, and be like, you know what? I love what you were able to do. It may not be fitting for me, but yet I love the fact that you are enjoying your work and that you are bringing so much joy to others through your work. And for that, I celebrate you, and I think this is what life it should be about.
This is fantastic.
It's
Coach,
important.
get me in the game, Coach.
Step 5, trust it.
She's good.
We got so much to do. We got to have you guys back and do more and more and open up the platform. And it's why we do what we do every day.
Absolutely.
And today it comes to fruition. Frannie and Rachelle and Steven.
I just, if I can just add on, I love what Rachelle said, and I think it's so true that we can love, but not like necessarily what people are about. You know what I mean? You can love them, you can appreciate them. You might not like it because we're all love. And it's just so silly. If it's not for you, that's okay. Look away. Do something else. What is this making people bad or wrong? Let's be kind and this is a time to have big hearts.
Amen.
And that doesn't mean any kind of abuse is ever acceptable. Any kind of treating badly of people or yourself. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I love what you said because it might not speak to your soul to be, all these wildly vibrant colors. Maybe subtlety is more your thing and your elegance, and that is a beautiful thing. But let's just love people where they're at and appreciate what they offer the world. It's so gorgeous what you said.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
And
for
we're
having
giving
us.
everyone their box of popcorn and
Yay,
the tickets that you won. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Speak your truth, find your voice, and appreciate others. It's all about love and kindness and harmony and a pop of color if you like.
And Bodega's open. Come on down and visit.
We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
In the cold and sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can pick in every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save it. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors. Just a ray of light, bathing me in drops of ink that gleams across my body. Wish you could unfreeze my heart and we could fly